For experienced travelers over the age of 60, the boarding gate is often a familiar sight of stress, marked by noise, rushing crowds, and unclear announcements, yet the greatest trouble stems not from what airlines communicate, but from what they leave unspoken, unwritten rules that, if broken, can lead to confusion, embarrassment, or delays that disrupt the start of a trip. A key mistake is crowding the gate too early, a common impulse driven by worries over losing overhead bin space or missing a boarding call in today's loud and chaotic terminals, but doing so can trigger new security systems, like those deployed by American Airlines in states such as Arizona, New Mexico, and Virginia, where scanning too soon flashes a red light and emits a loud error beep, forcing the gate agent to send you back in front of everyone. That moment can feel deeply humiliating for an older traveler, despite having done nothing wrong. The safer strategy is to remain seated until your precise boarding group is announced. Always double-check your boarding pass for your assigned group or zone. If you have difficulty hearing announcements, choose a seat near the gate speaker or simply inform an agent that you require clear boarding instructions. They are there to assist, and seniors are routinely given priority. This single adjustment avoids unnecessary stress, preserves your comfort, and ensures your journey begins smoothly. Another common error involves the front row assistant seats. Nearly every gate features a simple, unmarked row of seats facing the counter. While there are no signs, it is quietly understood among airport staff and frequent travelers that this row is reserved for passengers needing extra assistance. Typically seniors, those with mobility challenges, or individuals awaiting wheelchair boarding. However, younger passengers often occupy these seats without a second thought, inadvertently leaving older adults to stand in the gate's most crowded and chaotic area. For seniors, losing access to that seat is more than a minor inconvenience. It can result in missing a crucial boarding announcement, mishearing instructions, or feeling hurried when their group is finally called. One overlooked update can plunge the very start of their trip into disarray. The reality is, if you require that seat, you should use it confidently. It was intended for travelers in your situation. Conversely, if you don't need it, leaving it available is a simple gesture of consideration that has a meaningful impact. This unwritten courtesy safeguards older passengers, but it only functions when everyone recognizes and honors it. Another frequent oversight is not having your boarding pass and identification ready. Boarding lines advance quickly, often faster than many older travelers are comfortable with, and when it's your turn to step forward, multiple demands arise at once. Managing your phone, presenting your documents, coping with surrounding noise, and sensing the impatience of those waiting behind you. For seniors, even a brief delay can feel as though everyone in line is watching. That's why preparing your documents before you approach the counter is crucial. Open your mobile boarding pass ahead of time and ensure your screen brightness is high enough for the scanner to read it immediately, preventing awkward delays when a dim display causes the machine to beep repeatedly. Taking a simple screenshot of your pass can also safeguard against app glitches, slow airport Wi-Fi, or emails that won't load at the critical moment. Have your ID ready in your hand? A driver's license or state ID for domestic flights, or your passport open to the photo page for international travel. One small tip most people aren't told is to keep your boarding pass accessible even after the gate agent scans it, because the flight attendant at the aircraft door will often ask to see it again, and it's often older travelers who find themselves fumbling to retrieve it while others wait. This preparation isn't about rushing. It's about maintaining composure, reducing stress, and transforming the boarding process from chaotic to controlled. Another point of confusion for many older travelers is the moment at the gate when an agent announces that their carry-on must be checked. This can feel particularly unfair when you've packed meticulously and followed all the guidelines, but the reason is often straightforward. When the overhead bins fill up, it isn't a reflection on you, and if your bag complies with size rules, the airline will not impose a fee. The uncertainty usually arises from the next steps. An agent might ask you to place your bag in a sizing bin not because it's too large, but to attach the proper tag quickly. In a busy gate area, this simple request can feel stressful for seniors concerned about delaying others. To navigate this calmly, it helps to recognize two subtle signals. A full printed baggage tag means your suitcase will be sent to the baggage claim, while a small tag placed on the handle indicates it will be returned to you at the aircraft door. Before handing it over, always take out any essentials, medications, chargers, travel documents, and valuables. Once your bag is taken behind the gate, you won't have access to it again until the airline returns it. While this can be a frustrating experience, understanding the procedure makes it far more manageable. Another common error involves how bags are stored on board. For older travelers, stepping onto the plane can feel like entering a narrow, hurried aisle where everyone is moving at once. One simple misstep with luggage during this time is often what brings everything to a halt. That's why a key unspoken guideline is knowing precisely where your bags belong. The overhead compartments are shared by all passengers and are not assigned to the seat directly beneath them. Larger carry-on suitcases should be placed there on their sides, with the wheels facing inward, to maximize space efficiently. Smaller personal items, such as a purse or a backpack, belong completely under the seat in front of you, not at your feet. This practice isn't merely about following procedure, it helps keep the boarding process flowing and prevents last-minute scenarios where a passenger is forced to check a bag because the overhead bins are full. A tip many seniors find useful on longer flights is that once the plane is in the air, you can slide your personal item back behind your knees to create a bit of extra legroom. It's a minor comfort, but on a crowded flight, these small adjustments make a meaningful difference. Grasping this simple rule for storage helps boarding proceed smoothly, lowers stress, and allows you to settle in without feeling hurried or intrusive. Another important point involves a question flight attendants wish older travelers would refrain from asking during this hectic time. Boarding is the most demanding and high-pressure period for the cabin crew. They are simultaneously monitoring the cabin, securing luggage, resolving seat assignments, and addressing last-minute issues, all within a very tight timeframe. However, this is also the moment when many senior passengers ask a flight attendant for assistance lifting their carry-on into the overhead bin. This is a perfectly understandable request, as luggage can feel heavier with age and those bins seem to get taller every year. What most older travelers aren't aware of is that lifting passenger bags is typically not part of a flight attendant's duties. In fact, many airlines explicitly instruct their crews not to do so to prevent potential injuries. When asked, this places the attendant in an awkward dilemma, to refuse and seem unhelpful, or to agree and risk personal harm. A more reliable and safer solution is to politely ask a fellow passenger nearby for assistance. Most people are happy to help, especially when they see someone who could use a hand. If the bag feels genuinely too heavy to lift comfortably, that is actually a sign it should be checked at the gate. Understanding this guideline helps keep everyone safe and avoids an uncomfortable situation before the journey even starts. Another common misstep is attempting to switch seats before takeoff. Once you finally board the aircraft, it can be tempting to move to an empty aisle seat or settle into a vacant window spot that looks more appealing. After all the waiting, standing, and navigating through the terminal, you naturally want to sit where you feel most comfortable. For senior travelers, however, changing seats prematurely often creates precisely the kind of confusion and stress they had hoped to escape. Prior to departure, the cabin crew must confirm every passenger is in their assigned seat as listed on the manifest. A seat that appears empty might belong to someone who is still boarding, arriving from a connecting flight, or receiving special assistance. When that person arrives, the situation becomes awkward, particularly for an older passenger who must then gather their belongings and navigate a crowded aisle to move. A simpler and more reliable strategy is to go directly to the seat shown on your boarding pass and remain there until after takeoff, when the seatbelt sign has been switched off. Only then, if there are clearly vacant seats and the flight attendants permit it, can you move without causing disruption. This small act of patience prevents potential embarrassment and helps ensure an orderly departure. Another oversight involves settling into your seat without first organizing your essentials. Regardless of where you sit, aisle, window, or middle, there's a reality every mature traveler comes to understand. Comfort depends less on your assigned seat and more on what you do once you sit down. After the commotion of boarding subsides and the cabin grows quiet, that is your opportunity to prepare for the journey ahead. Older adults often feel the physical effects of a long flight more acutely. For older travelers, common physical challenges like stiff joints, swelling legs, dry air, or the general discomfort of sitting too long are precisely why preparing your space early is crucial. Ensuring essentials like medications, snacks, chargers, and headphones are within easy reach, adjusting your seatbelt for comfort and security, positioning your personal item to allow legroom while maintaining access, and asking for anything you need before the aisle is blocked by service carts, as prioritizing your comfort with small adjustments at the start can completely change how you feel by landing, with many simple, traveler-approved tricks available to make every mile easier. And while most passengers relax once the cabin doors close, experienced seniors know that true comfort and confidence come from understanding these unspoken rules. So with these quiet guidelines in mind, every future trip can become smoother, calmer, and far less stressful. You've now learned how to avoid the embarrassing gate scanner beep, claim the front row seats intended for those needing assistance, prepare your boarding documents to prevent rushing, remain composed if your carry-on must be checked, correctly store your bags to keep the aisle orderly, understand why flight attendants cannot lift luggage and who to ask instead, recognize the safe time to switch seats, and settle in strategically for greater comfort from takeoff to landing. Each of these adjustments significantly protects your energy, reduces confusion, eases stress, and can help you look forward to flying again rather than merely enduring it. To continue making your journey smoother, join our community of seasoned travelers by subscribing to our free newsletter, where you'll receive thoughtful tips, gentle reminders, and supportive advice designed to help you travel with confidence and ease, ensuring every adventure begins and ends with comfort and peace of mind.